Hey y'all, cooking, cutting up, keeping it real. Mama Lisa is back in the kitchen. I wanted to show y'all how to make zucchini bread, or how I make zucchini bread. Zucchini is coming in by the droves right now in North Carolina in this area. And so I will shred it, put it in the freezer, bring it back out of the freezer and make zucchini bread. So that's what I've done today, okay? I want to show y'all a really simple recipe. If you love this recipe, just grab a pen, you can rewind the video and write it down. But anyway, 2 eggs is going into one of the containers that I have out, or mixing bowls, and I'm just going to give this a little whisk, okay? I'm going to put all my wet ingredients in one, all my dry ingredients in the other, is what I'm telling you. So to this, I'm going to add my 2.5 cups of shredded, pureed, however you want to do it, zucchini. I like to do a little bit of both and have it in the freezer so that I can decide what I want to do with it. If it's, shredded or not shredded, if it's finely ground, let's say that, or grated, you can pull it out and make zucchini cakes like you would a potato cake and add some cornmeal, flour, eggs. I have picky eaters, and so I tend to puree mine in a food processor just because I don't want them to see it, feel it, taste it, all that. I'm trying to trick them. So anyway, 2.5 cups of zucchini, however you want to do it, whether it's shredded or whether it's pureed. Mine's pureed. Okay, that's my wet ingredients. To this, I'm also going to add just a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. You can use vanilla extract, but in baking, my preference, personal preference, is vanilla bean paste, and I'm just going to do a dub of that. It actually calls for 1 teaspoon, okay? And then, what else is my wet ingredients? Let me think about this. And let me read my recipe. Okay, I'm gonna set that to the side, just like it is, okay? Now, oh wait, I have to add oil, sorry. I'm gonna add, hold on, where's my oil at? 3/4 cup of vegetable oil to my wet ingredients. And I can barely see the measurements on this thing. It's had a lot, hey, that's pretty close. It's had a lot of wear and tear over the years, okay? A lot of dishwashing, all that good stuff. So, yeah, that's the bifocalers. Anyway, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil to the wet. So far we got 2 eggs, 2.5 cups of pureed zucchini, and 3/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now I'm gonna set that to the side. Oh, and I added my vanilla bean paste to that too. Okay, anyway, to my dry ingredients, I'm gonna add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, this doesn't have to be flour. It can be, if you're gluten-free, you can do gluten-free flour, is what I'm saying. Let me grab a measuring cup. I'm gonna do 2 cups of this in my dry ingredients. And mine is all-purpose flour, because I'm going to add to it baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So I guess you technically could use self-rising if you don't add that, baking soda, baking powder, and salt to it. Anyway, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. On my cooking vlog, Cooking, Cutting Up, Keeping It Real, I'll try to give the viewers an option, because everybody has different things in their pantry. And it's nice to kind of have a few little tricks of the trade or conversion type stuff, so you can actually use what's in your cupboard, pantry, supply, whatever it is you call it. I'm going to add to this 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Now, if you love cinnamon, you could do 2 teaspoons if you like. That's not going to, be a big deal as far as a baking recipe goes, okay? That's what I found. My experience. Okay, I'm gonna also use brown sugar, and I'm gonna put 1 cup of light brown sugar and 1 cup of white granulated sugar, but today I'm going to use this Truvia kind of sugar, so it'll cut down a little bit, maybe, on the calories, and I won't tell anybody that. Not in my house. Because then they'll be like, you did what? Anyway, you can use white granulated sugar or Trivia, whatever it is that you like or that your family likes. My family won't know the difference if I don't tell them about this part. 1 cup of white granulated sugar or Trivia. Now, to that, I'm gonna add 1 cup of Trivia brown sugar, which is not open because I just had it delivered. Yep, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna do 1 cup of this. Let me get my sleeve out of the way. My oven is at 350 degrees. Okay, come on. Yes, I am making a mess. Listen, I like those cooking shows that they do that they don't make a mess, but it's keeping it real in my kitchen and I make a mess when I cook. I do. I ain't gonna lie about it. 1 cup brown sugar, okay, of your choice. Now, let me go back to my recipe. We're gonna put in 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder and 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. This is my baking powder. And this is my baking soda. Okay, and that's a 1/2 teaspoon, but I just piled it up and put it on in there. Calls for 3/4 teaspoon. Anyway, and I'm also gonna put 1 teaspoon of salt. Let me wipe that cinnamon off of there so that cinnamon don't get in my salt box. There we go. Okay, close that salt box up. Okay, to this, let me just make sure we've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder and baking soda. We've got 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of white granulated sugar. I use Trivia on both. In this one, we have 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, or you could use applesauce if you don't want to use that vegetable. 1 teaspoon of vanilla bean paste, 2 eggs, lightly beaten, and 2.5 cups of zucchini, okay, grated zucchini. So I'm gonna just add all that together. Dry to the wet. You know what? I'm gonna just stir this in with this first, see if I can. With bread, I don't wanna over stir it, and sometimes I tend to do that if I'm not really concentrating on what I'm doing. Anyway, my guys are gonna know it's zucchini bread because of the color, but I'm hoping that I can make kind of a powdered sugar and hot water drizzle to put over the top, and maybe they'll eat it. And if they don't, that's okay, because I'm gonna stick these in my freezer. And you know, those occasions that you want to take something to somebody or send something to somebody by your children, it's a great little thing to have handy in your freezer. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now to mine, I'm also gonna add today, I don't always do this, just a little of this ground edible lavender. It smells, Lord have mercy, it smells heavenly. I put about 1/4 teaspoon. You don't have to have that. I'm just gonna use that. My house will smell like heaven, and the people that eat it, that love lavender, they may ask, what is that fragrance? And I will say, it's edible lavender. Anyway, let me grab this. I'm gonna cook mine on 350, and I'm gonna set my timer. If you do loaves like this, you cook it for 45 minutes. But because I had these in my pantry, and I love to give those as gifts, I'm gonna just use 5 of those and 1 regular loaf pan, okay? You could put this in a muffin tin as well. I'm gonna give each one a little spray. let's do this one first. Then we'll see how far it takes us. I'm gonna fill that up about 3/4 full. I'm gonna fill these up about 3/4 full as well, half to 3/4. Then it'll make some little loaves. And I'll set my timer, you know, for 10 to 15 minute increments so that I can check the doneness of the smaller loaves. Because they will not take as long to cook as that bigger loaf. And I will post a picture to my Instagram page that will also post to my Facebook page of these when they're done. I'm not gonna need that one, so I'll wash that one for another time. Zucchini bread, waste not, want not, right? That's what I'm gonna do with mine. I'll show y'all a picture of that one. It comes out of the oven. It smells wonderful in here. Thanks for tuning in. Cooking Cutting Up, keeping it real. I'll see y'all.